to the Wedding Vendors Happy Hour, where we dive into the world of wedding entrepreneurs. Learn how they got started, what advice they have for you, and everything in between. So grab a drink and take a seat as we interview amazing vendors with your hosts, Derek and Jade. Wedding Vendors Happy Hour. It's a podcast, but it's also happy hour.
What's up, vendors? Welcome back to another episode of the Wedding Vendors Happy Hour. My name is Derek with Derek Preciado Photography.
And I'm Jade with Jade Preciado Events. Today, we're thrilled to be joined by Tommy, the visionary founder of Ep.24. Known for their exquisite lounge and specialty rentals, Tommy and his team transform events with their unique decor that reflect the couple's style and personality.
In this episode, we'll explore Tommy's journey from television production design to the world of wedding rentals. So grab a drink, take a seat, and let's get to it.
Wedding Vendors Happy Hour.
Hey, what's going on, Tommy, man? We are super pumped to have you on the show, and we can't wait to get into it. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
We're good. We're chilling.
Good.
Super
excited
pumped.
for
Nice.
this one.
Yeah, we got a celebrity on today.
Hardly, but kind of.
But before we,
guess.
yeah, man. But before we get into it, can you let everyone who doesn't know who you are, just let them know who you are, what you do, and what your favorite drink is?
Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. My name's Tommy Rouse. I am a creative spirit who started a business and also work in television production design. And I live here on the Central Coast. I love it. I love all the people that live here. I love the weather. This is like an energy vortex that just has me wrapped in love. And my favorite drink is definitely a dirty martini, vodka, blue cheese, olives.
Whoa,
Wow.
fancy.
Yeah.
That's so cool. We love it. We love the Central Coast. We love the vibes here. All right.
Yeah, definitely.
So tell me, one thing we always like to ask is, what did you want to be when you were a kid? And did you think you'd be where you are today?
Whoa, we're going deep right off, right out the gates there. Man, when I was a kid, I don't know if I had put much thought into it. I mean, I grew up, I don't know if you know this, I grew up in Madera, California, on a little street called Ep.24.
Oh, okay.
So making
It was
sense.
between the 99 and the 41. But yeah, I just kind of had my hands in everything. My mom was pretty incredible at getting us involved in every activity, every sport, from theater to baseball. So I got to experience a lot of different things and a lot of different point of views and be around a lot of stuff. So I started to get drawn more into the creative stuff, maybe in the 6th grade. I wasn't doing so hot at math, but I was doing really good at building the dioramas and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
And teachers and stuff just started calling it out. And so I kind of just started thinking, oh man, I guess I'm good at tinkering and building and things like that. So I kind of started to think that I would be a builder someday or an architect or something of that nature.
Dude, it's super cool. And then now you are where you are now. Just
Kind of. I do a little less of the dirty work and kind of more of the pointing, but yeah.
so cool.
So can you tell us a little bit more about your journey? You briefly mentioned television production design and how it brought you to specialty rentals for Ep.24.
Gosh, yeah. So how I got in television production design. So from the beginning, I was finishing my degree at good old Fresno State in the Central Valley. I had a chance to escape for a little bit. I went to school in Santa Barbara, but I was having too much fun and decided I needed to get more serious and wrap things up. So I moved back home, and I was like graduating a month away from it. And one of my really good friends and co-student at the time, she was running a PR campaign for a local builder in town. And that builder just happened to be building the house for a show called Extreme Makeover Home Edition. I don't know if you're familiar. It's the Move That Bus show with Ty Pennington. Yeah, he just screaming to the microphone, and like the families would come out running. So I wasn't a part of that. I didn't volunteer in it. I met the crew at a bar.
Oh, so random.
And it was like the production manager's birthday, and like they were getting ready to run out, and I like bought him a birthday shot on the way out, and he handed me his card. And I didn't think much of it. I was just like, oh, sweet. Maybe when I'm in LA, we'll hang out. I don't know. And after graduation, I actually had a job interview for the Slow Tribune, because I was going to school to be a graphic designer, like specifically newspaper and print based. That was a big jump from wanting to be a builder, but so I actually had an interview there, and like all of a sudden there was like this shift. This was like about the time when like there was kind of chatter in the media that like print was about to like phase out. And so I was just like, oh man, is this the right move? Like, I love Slow. I've always grown up vacationing here. So I wanted to come here, and I thought it was like the biggest, coolest opportunity to come work for a newspaper on the coast. But like something in the back of my mind just was like, call this guy that you met at the bar with your friend. She's moving to LA. Like, who knows what'll come of it. So I called him, and I just asked if they were hiring, like just out of the blue for their next season. And he said one position left. It was like the assistant to the assistant, like bottom of the barrel. Like a production assistant, office assistant, but they were kind of looking for a tech person too. So they were like, come on down for an interview if you can, set up a printer. And I went down for the interview. I like jumped on the bus. My car, I had like wrecked at the time, so I didn't have a way to get there. And so I went down to LA, just like me alone. And I was like, interviewing at this big production office with this person I met one time and like 4 other people. And they're just at a panel, like across from a table. It's like, not to be dramatic, but like, American Idol vibes. And you're just, what am I doing here? Was this exactly like, is this a mistake? But, probably wasn't the best candidate, because they were asking me all these questions that I wasn't prepared for. They were like, can you set up internet networks for 20 trailers? And like, do you know how to work on MacBooks and PCs, all this stuff? And I was just like, honestly, no, but I'll Google it and I'll figure it out. Like, I'm like trained in like media and newspaper and like getting things done on a deadline. So let's go for it. And like, I don't know if that was the right answer, but they did end up hiring me. And I went on the road with them. I jumped on the circus train, I guess, I like got out of Fresno and just like jumped right into it. And then when I was on my first episode, I discovered the design department. So I just like walked into their trailer to set up their printer, and I was looking around at all the samples, and just like everybody was running around like crazy, because that show, they build a house in 5 days. And so I was just like, what is this madness? I had no idea this existed. I just thought, I believed everything I saw on TV and thought like Ty Pennington was doing it all, I didn't realize there was this whole like awesome team behind the scenes that just like brings the magic together. So I was like, I want to be in here. And then we just worked towards that. And inevitably I ended up in their department the next season after a lot of hard work. And kind of donating a lot of time. I would just jump over and be like, do you guys need graphics for this family? Do you guys need a custom wallpaper for this bedroom you're doing in a dinosaur theme? So I would do all that for them. And then they like let me jump departments, which is kind of rare. Like people like to hold on to you in their little zones. And then, gosh, just like by luck, the right amount of people like quit and got fired. And by the end of that show, like I did 3 seasons, I was like kind of like second in command leading the design department for this like national TV show that was in its prime, you know, like, and it was just celebrity guests left and right. Like the biggest names in the business were on that show. And it was just like so cool and wild. And that's like how I got into it. So it's kind of like hard work and a little bit of luck at the same time, like got me into that.
Dude, love the story, and listening to it, there's so much to take away, like the power of networking that you just gave a guy a shot that changed your life. And then, dude,
that's so true. Like networking is extremely powerful. I never knew what that phrase meant, like in high school or even college. Like it's who you know, and it's like so true. You know, so like you never know who's going to be your next thing.
Yeah. And then also you mentioned that, you know, you would always like hint, hey, like if you need a graphic, let me know. You just kept inching your way into closer and closer to your goal.
Yeah. I love it.
I'm not stalking you. I just want to help.
Yeah. I love that. So basically like people are listening, like just go after your dream and just keep fighting for it. Tommy, man.
Oh, totally. Even if you don't know what you want to do, like, you know, I was describing earlier, when I was a kid, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. You know, in college took longer for me because I was like, what do I want? You know? And so, yeah, it's just like another badass quote that's like took me by surprise and like is truly me, is like luck favors the prepared. And so like I just kept working towards that and offering my help in between, and then the luck fell into place and I was ready for it, I guess.
Dude, well, congrats on that. Dang.
Thanks.
So speaking of television and stuff, and I'm pretty sure everyone wants to know, let's get into another one here. So what was it like working on as a production designer on Queer Eye and now on Camera 4 Revealed?
Oh my gosh. Well, I've always sort of been like this like extroverted introvert, I guess you could say. Like I love people, I love being around them, but I like kind of being in the corner of the room, if that makes any sense. You know, so being behind the scenes is like perfect for me. It was like my comfort zone. I just like loved like bringing things to life and being like, here you go, now you take it the rest of the way. Like and in that world of reality TV, there are what we call talent on camera. And then behind the scenes, obviously, like we're production designers, or there's art directors, design producers. And so they're 2 very different jobs. And like oftentimes people who become talent, they were designers, or they are, but they're such great storytellers and so like good at speaking and being on all the time that becomes their job. And so when they're filming a show, it's like 24/7 they're being filmed. So like the cameras are going, even though you only see like 30 minutes, 45 minutes for an episode. So these talent on camera designers, they're just like being filmed and telling a story. So they become the narrators of the design. So they can't really do the design. It's just like virtually impossible. They do have a say and they have like a creative drive in it, and we have meetings with it, but like there's a behind the scenes team that really drives the force because there's a lot of factors involved. There's budgets, there's production schedules that if the talent's thinking about that all the time, how are they supposed to like tell the story, you know? So we try to give them as least stress as possible. And like, I just like loved being a part of that and like doing my part for it. And so for Queer Eye to come around, it was kind of a tricky time. I mean, I just kind of started Avenue 12. I was like maybe a year in, but it was like schlepping stuff out of my garage, like from under a tarp in my driveway. Like begging friends to help me deliver things for free and do styled shit, you know?
Yeah.
And I had been in TV for a while, but I had moved here for, you know, a family thing. And so I kind of took a break from TV, and Queer Eye like magically happened from like a Facebook message. An old friend
So random.
from Extreme Makeover. So, which I almost missed the message, by the way. Like 3 weeks later, I was like, what's this? But, doing Queer Eye and all that, it was like, it shifted for me a little bit in my career because I was so used to doing like, home makeovers. And that was, also a set was involved. So I got to do a lot of set work with that show, and it would kind of like put me in another category of television design that started doing other shows and stuff like that too. So I just started jumping around to other shows, and I had met this gal who is like my best friend. Her name's Veronica Valencia, and she does the same thing as me. But we realized that we are so like strong together that like we try to work together as much as possible. It's just like really cool to have somebody that kind of can read your mind, but also like fill in the blanks. Like, I mean, I'm the first to admit, like, I suck at picking out paint colors, and she can do it in like 2 seconds, you know? So it's like, but then I'm like the floor plans guy, you know? So we kind of like go together in that way. And she was running the reboot of Extreme Makeover, right when Queer Eye kind of started blowing up. Like, I got nominated for an Emmy, and I was like losing my mind. And then she was like, hey, can you come do a reboot with me? And I was like, I can only do one house. I'll die. But during that time, I got to go back to Fresno. We did a house there, and it was kind of cool going back to my roots and like kind of being in the hometown spirit and doing what I love. Like, it's like so rare. Like, what is happening? The universe is like stoked on me right now. But during that episode, Veronica had she had made a connection with a network exec, and she like really wanted her own show. And so she like pitched it like right there in a trailer. And they were like, okay, let's see where this leads. Hooked us up with a production company. And then she's like, you have to be in my show. Like, what? Like, no way, I can't do this. Like, I'm a behind the scenes guy. Like, I'll watch you. Like, I'll be in the room, like cheering you on, but I'm going to hang out in the corner and like support you. And she was like, absolutely not. Like, you and Dave, who is our other good friend in the TV industry, who's a builder. My husband, Josh, who does art direction and like fine art and painting and stuff, and can do all the murals for TV and stuff. She's like, he's in it too. Like, she wanted her husband in it too, who does a lot of our project management behind the scenes, but he was like, he's like, I'll be in like a little bit, but no, thank you. So she kind of like dragged us all in, like sort of kicking and screaming. And then we did it, and we were like, wow, this is so much fun. Like, this is awesome. I mean, it had definitely its challenges. Cause like in the back of my mind, there's always that perfectionist thing of like making something perfect for this talent, because I want them to feel as comfortable as they can on camera. I want the show to be a success. I want this to be a beautiful message, especially for shows like Queer and Extreme Makeover and stuff, when it's like for such a good cause. But on this, like moving over into this, it was like, as beautiful as the show was, I was constantly in my head. I was like always thinking about the behind the scenes, and like couldn't like find the words to say, because I was just like, oh no, that room, that pillow needs to be moved like 2 inches to the left. That camera shot's not looking very good. And then they're like, Tommy, tell us about the meaning of this vase. And I'm like, and where it came from, because that show was based on heritage and stuff. And I was like, oh, no, I don't know, so like half the time in the show, I'm just like blank face, just smiling and nodding my head, because I just like couldn't get out of my head. I couldn't like wrap around it. But like, it was just like still so much fun to be a part of and be on that side of things and get to like, goof off a little bit and not be so serious on set. Cause when you're the production designer, a lot of people don't understand that you're also like a department head. So you like have this like department of humans you're responsible for too. So you're always like, everybody eating lunch? Have you worked 8 hours, 12 hours? Like, are you safe? Like, so you're kind of always thinking about all those things. So it's just kind of fun not to,
Yeah.
Hey everyone, it's Derek.
And Jade here.
We hope you're enjoying this episode of the Wedding Vendors Happy Hour. We wanted to take a quick moment to share a great way you can support the podcast.
That's right. If you love what we do and want to help us keep bringing you amazing content, consider buying us a coffee.
It's super simple. Just head over to buymeacoffee.com/Wedding Vendors Happy Hour or click on the link in the show notes below. It's just a small gesture that makes a big difference.
Every coffee helps us cover production costs and keeps the show running smoothly.
Plus, it gives us that extra boost we need to bring you even better episodes and amazing guests.
So if you want to support the show, head over to buymeacoffee.com/Wedding Vendors Happy Hour and buy us a coffee.
Thanks for your support, and let's get back to it.
So with the revealed show, sorry, I want to hear more.
Oh, you're
I was
good.
also curious, like, because you guys have like your department heads like on camera. Like, is that like, did you bring the behind the scenes on camera, or are there still behind the scenes?
Yes and no. It's tricky because there's like a lot of cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
There's like notes from the network on how the show should be or you should be. There's notes from the production company and the producers. So it was kind of tricky, to like for all of us to be in that zone, but I don't know. I think we kind of pulled it off.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah, well, congrats on that, man. That's a great show. Both of them.
Yeah. Oh, thank you guys.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. It was a really fun show to make. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I could go on about this for hours, just picking your brain. Are there any like specific takeaways from those shows that influence your approach at Avenue 12?
Oh my gosh. Yes, absolutely. Because the shows, like I said, the ones I work on are like fast-paced makeover shows, whether it's like restaurants or homes or whatever. So the wedding industry is very similar in that way, right? Like you have a deadline, this, Jay. You get to stress out about it every Saturday, but you have a deadline. It's fast paced, even though it's stressful. You have that adrenaline rush that you get from these shows, and it's like exciting. And there's a lot of creativity involved, and whether I'm creating it or observing someone else or supporting them, it just like translated really well. I started Avenue 12 when there really wasn't sort of a specialty rental company here.
Yeah.
And funny enough, like 2 others started at the same time. And what was so cool about it is like SLO is so collaborative. So we all kind of brought each other up in it. It was really rad in that way, which you don't experience in Los Angeles as much. Everybody's way more competitive, but I would say just translated super well in that. And then with rentals, we had our systems in place. So just like quick makeovers, when we're doing like an episode of Queer Eye, I walk into a room on a Scout and I'll map out the space and have an understanding of what we can and can't do, how many rooms, what types of furniture would get here fast enough. And weddings are sort of the same way. So it's just like when we build out a lounge, we have sort of that roadmap each weekend, or each venue, we kind of do the same thing, or we study each planner, and, some like these pillows, some like those accessories. And it's just fun because it's like both worlds kind of are the same. They're just for a different reason,
Right.
Yeah, that's super wild. Man, we could just talk TV for days and just listen to,
I know.
Your inspirations.
How it translates to the wedding world. I mean, you're talking about this whole other world, but somehow you've pieced the two together where
I don't know, like you guys, we've been trying to connect for what, like 6 months, and I'm just like, maybe next Wednesday. Actually, never mind. Maybe next Tuesday. Nope.
No,
My brain's like split, but I love it.
That's so crazy. That's so crazy. All right. We want to get into more Avenue 12 stuff. All right, Tommy, let's get into like rental offerings and design trends.
Whoa.
Oh yeah, we're getting in there. So like, can you give us a sense of like the different furniture and decor styles available for rent? And do you see a certain style or styles trending more with couples lately?
Gosh. Yeah. I mean, I'm always like watching and observing, there's trends all over the place coming and going. And then there's like the classic things that kind of stay true. But it's also like, it's hard. They're like, to get into specific trends, there are a few things that like we'll follow, like, oh, light colored wood is really in this last season. So it's like, we'll bring more of those pieces in. But what I'm finding in the wedding industry that's a little different than interior design is that it's a little more like fast, like fast fashion, like vibes. So that has been difficult to maintain. So we try to like not dive too deep into trends. We'll buy like a few things that we think will be like a key piece or a hit piece.
Yeah.
But we're not going to go buy like 100 of them, and we have learned that the hard way, I will say, because, when you're starting a business, you don't really know all the tricks. You're just learning them. So we have bought too many of one thing. And then the next year it's like, wait, nobody's renting that anymore. Like they're over it. So weddings just like shift so fast. Like each year it's like, bam, here's the next thing. And it's like, oh, okay. It's kind of trying to keep up with that is tough. So we kind of steered away from tracking trends too much. Like we pay attention to them, but truly we just started like focusing on more like our brand and like, our area. And if that makes any sense, we live in like wine country. We do a lot of like ranch weddings and coastal. So we've kind of like SLO has kind of created its own like destination vibe here that you don't really get in a lot of other places, like where cowboys meet the sea. Like what's going on over here? But, so we kind of try to fill that gap. So we try to hit everything from sort of these ranchy vibes to like that coastal. So you'll see in our inventory, there's a lot of things that like go from there to there.
I love it. Great way to describe our niche of an area and our own design aesthetic.
Yeah.
Totally.
Can you tell us about any of your personal favorite inventory items right now?
Oh my goodness. Honestly, I would say we've been working really hard on like custom stuff or customization. And, when you brought up trends, something that's always been in the back of my mind is just like, focusing on like quality. And then also, I don't know, like, I guess customization would be the word. So like if you're the client or you're the planner, it's like you want the freedom to design what's best for your client or for yourself or to tell your story or their story or your style. So we started building these things that could be like transformable. So like all of our bars are like, can fold up and travel on a truck, and then they can expand once they get there. You can also print on them or paint them a different color that can match your aesthetic. We started building like these walls that can do different things and like shelving units and stuff, because we're finding that lots of people maybe aren't doing like big everything, but they're creating more of these points of impacts, like memorable moments, I guess, that people could either take pictures in front of, or, the bar is where a lot of people hang out. So that's become a point of impact. So we've kind of shifted into these sort of customization things that focus on that. We all obviously have a lot of other stuff, but those have become my favorite because every week, Jessica, our incredible, brilliant rentals and design managed guru.
We love her.
Her and I, we're always sitting in the warehouse watching the guys, like they go back and forth to the trucks and they're like painting stuff in front of it. And so we get to see this stuff transform every week, and it's like, it's really cool to watch and like see like what people come up with and then see how they piece it together. So that's a really long answer to what's my favorite inventory. And it's definitely the custom bar pieces and the point of impact stuff that we've come up with.
I wanted to ask more about that. Like on your website, you have like the "You dream it, we can build it" process for a couple, which that's so cool. But what have you seen from that? Like, what have people come up with?
It is, yeah, and it's like it came just from doing one bar, and we're like, wait, we can do this. It also came about when Josh was like, I want to do more custom, so we put that on the site, and we've seen a few here and there. Like people have been like, hey, can you build this rope display? And like we'll build a rope display, and it's like swinging shelves on this big cool. Giant thing, and like people would put like tequila shots on it or like do a flower market. But
cool.
That was pretty cool. And then I would say the coolest thing so far, because we don't want to build anything too big or crazy that our team can't handle. We love being the small business that we are, but it's the Noel shelves, and that like actually came about from Vanessa Noel Events.
Yeah.
She inspired those, and basically they are a bar back shelf. It's a solid wall and it has an arch, and it can attach sconces to it. So you can change out your sconces, your shades to the sconces. We have like a bunch of different styles and battery bulbs, so they like don't plug in anywhere. But they were built as like they could be combined to do like this giant wall of shelves. Like you can span like probably 30 feet, and it just looks like a wall that you can hide anything ugly at a venue. Like we've had like server stations and stuff like that, or you can just like have one shelf. So that one was pretty cool of her. We brainstormed that together because she wanted this one thing, but then we got to map out for future events that she was doing. Like, well, I will also want this at this other event, but I want it bigger. We're like, oh, so wait, we have to figure out how this thing like connects and deconnects and looks good from all sides. And I would say that was like the most fun and cool thing that we've done so far were those cool shelves.
Yeah, those are beautiful. I saw those and was so impressed. Oh my gosh. And how cool to be able to, like you said, do like one standalone piece, but also be able to stretch it and hide something and make a feature out of it. Oh my gosh.
Totally. Yeah.
Super cool. I bet you whenever you guys make something custom, it becomes like a trend and everyone's like, oh, I want that. Can we have that at our wedding? Have you had that? People ask you?
Gosh, I hope. Because then that's how you make the money, right? You get the income to pay the bills. Like I was saying before, the fast pace of it all is like, you want to be able to pay for the next season and stuff. But yeah, those did fire off. So those in the bars, and I think that's maybe why I like them too, because I'm like, they're so cool to watch, but they also like, yay, we're renting them every weekend. I mean, like, we're not that big. And one weekend this year, we had like, I think 20 bars out at once and like half of those were custom, and then like all the Noel shelves. So it was like, that was like a pretty whoa moment for us, because we only have 2 trucks, y'all. Like I don't know how Jess
that's crazy
built that schedule, but yeah, those are those. We're just talking about the same product over and over again, but yeah, those ones started flying off the shelf and becoming trendy around here. And then we started seeing like other areas start to have them, not those specifically, but just bars being more of a point of impact zone for weddings.
They're like, we started that first.
I hope. That'd be cool.
All right. So let's get into something for the clients. So can you tell us about your pre-styled packaged options for clients?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that just came about because like we started learning that our industry doesn't have like a uniform set of things. Like planners, for example, some are incredible logistics, some are incredible designers, some are both. So we just found like, how do we help and feed these people who are brilliant coordinators and planners, but they don't really like care for design. And we're like, how do we help them? So that's how that kind of started. We just started building these styled packages and just trying to make it as easy as possible for client interface. So we did a lot of work on building those in our website to make our catalog like super easy to use. And then the style packages just like got integrated into that. So we were just trying to map out, like, if you were just somebody that was great at logistics and coordinating and you needed to quickly build your design, we could throw those at you really fast and you could like send them to your clients super fast. And then also just the client, like as we started growing and becoming more Googleable, like we started getting more like clients without the planner. So that kind of came about to where they could quickly just design their wedding too. If they weren't doing something super big or investing in a huge full planning service, it was like cool to see that like happen more. And then word of mouth would go through their friends like, oh, I could just pull this cocktail hour package and pull it in. And then they, you know, hire their month of planner or whatever that comes in and coordinates for them, but they got to design their own wedding. And the cool thing about the style packages, it was just like, we started building our inventory mapped out in like sections and like certain blocks. So we always have like 2 sofas and 4 side tables, 2 coffee tables. So at any given moment you can have 2 of the same lounge, if that makes sense. And so like these style packages could be built in like different ways. So you can just have them go straight into the dance, flanking the dance floor, create your club vibe, or one could be pulled to cocktail hour and one could be dance floor. So Jess can like behind the scenes quickly edit these packages. So you can just have like tons of color variations in pillows or chairs. And so it's like a one-click thing with our software that makes it so fun and easy. And just like watching how people customize them is really cool too. Cause half the time we'll like build a styled package and then like Jade will come in and be like, can you switch this chair out? And we'll be like, oh, sick, Jade, now we're going to make the Jade lounge, you know, like, and so like, that's like how the Noel shelves happen. Like sometimes you'll see people's names that are named after a package on our site. And it usually comes from like a wedding planner or designer that kind of showed us something we didn't think of before.
Cool. I love
Super
that.
cool.
And nice to have, you know, again, for those couples that don't have a planner they're working with yet, or just kind of coordination, something just easy for them and still have personalization for their wedding.
Totally.
One really cool thing that I've loved lately is all of your partner rental companies. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. Gosh, I love all the research you've done. I'm like, what are you going to ask me next? Yeah. So Avenue 12 started with like a little dream of just like being here more. And, I was like, oh, it would be rad to have a venue here someday or whatnot. And like not having the funds to do that. You're like, oh, I'm going to build this like rental company first. And then seeing like all these other small businesses that like had like these dreams or creativity, but like you can tell they like didn't have this $1 million investor either. It was kind of like, well, why don't we like kind of build a collective and support each other and see what we can do? So that's how it kind of started. And then like partners have kind of come and go or trickled in and out. And we've realized that we don't necessarily want to get into like tabletop. It's like a whole beast that I'm just not prepared to take on the logistics of, you know? And so we outsource that. And so like, that's how that kind of came about. And I guess like word of mouth would just sort of happen at like industry events or something. And then we'd like bump into a tabletop vendor and they'd be like, oh my gosh, let's be partners. So Josh and I built out we had an opportunity to build out a showroom because before we were just operating as like a little warehouse and a website. And we didn't have like appointments or in-person meetings or anything like that. It was just going out the door for weekends. So we built this little like studio space, and then with in mind having these like this area that was dedicated to partners. And so we built out this whole area where people can come and just like use that space to display their stuff. So we have like different linen companies and dishes. Some are more like avant-garde. Some are more like, you know, neutral and simplistic. And so we're just love having them in there because it gives people more options. Obviously, it probably helps us rent more furniture. Like we do dining tables and dining chairs. And then we just kind of worked out these cool deals with them. So they like give discounts on rental delivery fees, or we'll deliver for them. And yeah, that's kind of how it came about. And Jess and I just evolved it into this like design studio that people can just come use and just like design their wedding and use our studio for free, and like have all these vendors in one spot rather than having to like chase them online, you know?
Yeah. And I feel like you've really found like the specialty tabletop rental companies that, you know, kind of like blend with your own furniture too. So,
Thank you. Yeah, it's kind of serendipitous. It's pretty cool how it worked out. And the stuff that's in there, I'm just like blown away each time when they bring in new inventory. I'm like, what? I never thought of that. Like, it's so cool. So yeah.
Super cool. And I want to talk about this one little cool that you mentioned some of it, the studio space that you have, which I've had the pleasure of using, the photo shoot spot. Yeah. Can you tell us about
that's where I met you.
I think it was.
Like, yeah.
That's my husband. I was like, what?
Yeah. Can you tell us about that space, how clients or vendors can rent it?
Yeah. So honestly, that space came about selfishly. We're always trying to figure out how to like shoot our inventory. Like, you know, half the time it's like we curate stuff that comes from places that just have photos of them in a living room. So we're like, how do we like show this inventory on our website? So we needed a blank space to shoot it. And we kept honestly using, thank you, April, Slow Brew the Rock, like, and we would use their warehouse space until they made that into a venue. But the photo studio was created for us. And then we were kind of like having so much fun shooting in there. Like, we were like, wait a second, this is like cool for other people to use too. So then we like built out the web page, and we're like, if you know, you build it, they will come kind of thing. And like people started to notice and more people started to use it, and we just opened it up to there. And like now it's like a full blown photo studio, like 3 days out of the week. And then like the other 3 days or 4 days out of the week, it's like the design center, and our guys are doing mock-ups in there and stuff. So yeah, that's kind of how it came about. You can book it on PureSpace or through us directly. It's by the hour or a full day, and we include rentals in it. So you can use our furniture and our props, and you can just go ham in there. We're still trying to figure out the lighting, because we're not experts in photography, you know, but yeah, that's the photo studio.
Such a cool spot. Yeah. So fun.
Oh, thanks you guys.
Going back to rentals, are there any like elements, like rental elements you think that couples can easily overlook, but have a really big impact on the event?
Yes. I have lots of tips for that. I mean, I would just say like, it depends on the event, right? I guess, every client's different, as you're fully aware, but if it's, you know, an intimate dinner or, a 300 person wedding, we kind of adjust to them. But the average wedding is kind of doing all of that. They're having like the meal, the dancing, the ceremony. So we try to just like give people like, options of levels, I guess. So we're kind of want to do it all. So it's so much more fun for us to be involved in the whole event rather than like dropping off 2 chairs, you know? It's just like, we get to like control the quality more. So we love like seeing like a mix of stuff, right? So it's like the chairs for low seating, the high tops, then the lounges around the dance floor. Like, it's kind of like more, I guess, as I talk more feeling out like the cocktail hour of it all, because that's like where some like magic starts to happen. If the couple's out like getting their photos done during that time, like that's when the guests are really starting to mingle and enjoy themselves. And maybe they've had a cocktail or two. And so that's where we try to focus a lot in that zone, because that's when the party kind of starts to take off, in my mind anyways. Like, so we really focused on lounges first and building out those in our inventory. And I would say that was like our priority for a long time. And then the cocktail tables and bars like became like priority for us too.
Yeah.
That's super huge. So I never thought about it that way, Tommy. So now when I go do weddings and photograph, I'm going to make sure I nail those cocktail hour photos.
Yes.
You know?
Totally. Oh my gosh. While we're talking about it,
Okay.
if you ever see a smushed pillow from the wedding party,
Yeah. Fix it. Fix it.
Fix it before you
Fix
shoot it.
I mean, that's obviously not your responsibility. And it's like you're running around doing a million things a minute. And I'm not saying you did this, but that's the most common thing you see is like pillows just smushed because people were already enjoying it before you get to it, you know. But yeah, the cocktail hour lounges are pride and joy.
So what's the proper way? Because I've seen people kind of fluff it. I've seen people do like a little karate chop on it. Like what is the the pillow?
What's the matter?
Yes, the karate chop for certain ones, but we get into all kinds of pillows over here. We've got the discs, the bolsters, we got them all. So if you want to text me, I can
The proper
tell
way.
you. That's what our guys always do when they're there. I'm like, send me a picture before you.
Oh dang! This is
You know, I want to see it before they take off because I want to make sure it's perfect for you guys.
Quality
you know,
control. Yes.
love it.
Mhm.
All
Yeah.
right. So tell me, I know everyone has like a memorable or unique event or wedding that they were a part of. What is Avenue 12? What's yours?
Oh my gosh, memorable. Oh, all of them, Derek. Come on. I don't know. Like they're all so different and so fun in so many ways. I mean, obviously we kind of like fall into our comfort zones and we love like working at our venues, right? Because it's just easy sometimes, but and it's like, you know, it like the back of your hand, you don't have to stress about it. But I love like the house parties, like the private estates. And we've done like a really cool one in the Hills of Slow. Cause like, you don't even know those are there. And it's like, some of them are like a museum of like collectibles. And we had this one house that was just this person gifted their home to like a friend of a friend's like niece, and they've been like family friends since birth or something. So she had her reception there, but they had like eloped. And so that place was just full of like artifacts from like New Guinea, like tribes and stuff. And it was just like this wild juxtaposition of just like this sort of like museum with a view of like the rolling hills of Slow. And then there's like our furniture. So we got to just set up all these little nooks and crannies to like try to guess where people would hang out and stuff, because it wasn't like this big open venue. And so that one was like one of my favorites because it was just kind of fun to figure out. And then just like seeing our furniture amongst these like artifacts was just like, wait, this is badass. Like, what is this? So
dang, you're talking
cool.
The bougie people over here. Just gifting a house, no problem.
Every once in a while you get those clients, you know.
Oh my God, that is awesome.
Thank you.
So
you just paid my rent.
Yeah, one of those little artifacts could pay like help you retire.
I know.
Probably. Oh my God.
I know, right? Oh my gosh, totally.
So tell me what, like I hear the passion and I hear, you know, how happy you are with everything. What drives your passion to do what you do?
Oh, goodness gracious. I mean, I don't know. Like, I just feel like it's like programming me at this point. Like, I obviously like love what I do. I show up every day because it's enjoyable, right? But there's definitely a mix. I mean, if my passion wasn't paying the bills, I don't know if I'd be able to like stick with it. So it's like money's a definite driving force. I love like the fast pace of it. I love seeing like A turn into Z. That drives me. I'm just like so fascinated about that process. And again, whether it's me or like observing or helping someone else do it, it's just like so fun to be a part of. And then like, honestly, like the people that I get to work with is like what drives me too. And I didn't really focus or know about that for a long time. I was kind of like this and like, I just got to get the work done.
Yeah.
But like Avenue 12 has like grown into like, we have like 15 employees and they're like,
wow,
pretty rad human beings. Like, like they're so funny. I love like half of them are in college, you know, cause it's like in between gigs, moving furniture or styling stuff for us. But, they're just funny, and like learning their story and like helping them grow, it's like kind of transformed into that a little bit. Like just showing up and enjoying the workspace has been like a driving force, I think. Especially post COVID, you know, we all went through that, and then that it was pretty magical to come out on top and then have that be a thing. So.
Oh, that's so cool. You get to see your little employee babies grow into your business.
Molding them.
Molding them.
Fly away.
That's so
it's sad to see some go, but you know, we gotta support them.
All right, tell me. So let's see. Let's give a nice tip here. So to everyone that's listening, what's the number one thing you had to overcome or master to achieve your success?
You guys, taxes. I mean, no, I guess that does transfer into like just having a strong team and like, and learning what that looks like, you know, having people fill in those things that maybe you're not so good at or you don't have time for. And I literally tried to do everything because I was like, oh, if everything's not perfect or the way I want it, it won't succeed. And I learned like, oh, you got to like hand some stuff off to like an accountant and this person. And maybe you don't need to learn every little detail. Like someone else can do that for you. So I say like the tip is just like, learn that faster. Learn to like lean into people and let them help you. And like, seek those people that are passionate about that, you know, you could fill in to like build your team, you know.
That's huge.
It's a tip we can all probably learn from.
Yeah, big time.
Yes.
I know, just faster than me.
Well, what is next for Avenue 12? Are there any exciting new offerings or projects you're looking forward to?
Goodness, for Avenue 12, I would say taking a nice little break. I mean, season. I don't know if you guys experienced this, but this year has been so strange. A lot of last minute bookings, which is like cool. Thank you for the money. Thank you for the opportunity. But like, how do we staff this? How do we keep going? So I feel like we're just ready for a quick rest, a reset, and like recharge, and like that opportunity to get creative again. Like, you know, we talked a lot about the bars and the shelves and the customization, and Josh and I have been, you know, at happy hour here and there, like talking about things we want to build or do for next year, but like when, you know. So I think we're just excited to like sit down and powwow with Jess and really dive into like what else do we want to bring to the area, because that's like how Avenue 12 started and how we kind of drive our inventory each year, is just brainstorming on like what's next, what cool thing can we bring that people can design with or have fun with. So the month of December will be that moment.
A ton of it.
That's what I'm
on.
Excited to see what you come up with.
Oh, thank you.
Dude, we are super pumped.
If you have any ideas, let me know.
Jade will. All right, Tommy, you've nailed these questions and you gave us awesome answers, but now let's get into a fun little game we like to call this or that. It's a quick game.
I love when you go to announce the next thing. I'm just like, wait, how did you just steer me in that direction?
All right. So this or that, we're just going to give you a quick little question. You just pop the answer.
Yep, rapid fire.
Okay.
All right, go for it, Jade.
Text or phone call?
Text.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Indoor or outdoor reception?
Outdoor.
Dine in or dine out?
Dine out.
Cats or dogs?
Oh, come on, you guys. Dogs, I guess. Dogs.
Cocktail tables or lounge sets?
Lounge sets for sure.
Pastel colors or earthy tones?
Earthy.
Christmas or Halloween?
Halloween.
Staycation or vacation?
Oh, staycation.
DIY projects or shopping for new gadgets?
Oh, dude, that one's hard. I know. Why is it hard? I'm a weirdo, but DIY.
Early bird or night owl?
Lately, early bird.
Oh, nice. Organized or messy?
Both.
Ceremony arch or a unique backdrop?
Gosh, come on, these are supposed to be quick, and then backdrop.
All right, here we go. Netflix or Amazon Prime?
Jeez. It depends on what's dropping. But I'll say Netflix. Yeah, Netflix.
Custom fabrication or paintable bar?
Oh, I think the paintable bars are pretty fun.
All right, here's a wild one. All right, the hair on your head grows forever or have it never grow again?
Wait. Doesn't it already do that? Doesn't it grow forever?
So it'll never stop. Your hair never stops growing? Or...
But is it like I can't cut it?
You can cut it. But it'll just keep growing. You cut it and it'll just keep growing.
Oh, it's like live. Okay.
Yeah.
Gosh, then no hair.
It's a bald Tommy.
Sounds exhausting.
Yeah. Okay, cake or pie?
Oh, gosh, come on, pie.
Own a time machine or a teleporter?
Time machine.
Intimate or large wedding?
Intimate.
Specialty rentals or Goodwill furniture?
Specialty rentals, for sure.
All right. Dude, so fun. That is crazy. Oh, man. All right. So before we wrap it up, we like to ask one final question to every guest. And that is, if you could choose any superpower to have while designing for a couple, what would it be and how would it help you?
Wow. Is it just like one power?
It could be, one power.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a mind reader, right? I don't feel like every couple knows how to describe what they want.
Mm-hmm.
So if I could just read their mind, it would be like so easy. We could just knock it out, you know?
Yeah. That'd be awesome. Just like they'll inquire and you'll get them on a phone call and they'll be like, I think I want, and you'll be like, I know what you want.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to know everything, but
selectively
just the design details. Yeah. This is the design details. I think that would be super helpful.
Awesome, Tommy. So where can our listeners find you?
Oh, you guys, at what time of day?
Like on socials and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, my personal, lucky enough, I have my full name. Maybe I was one of the OGs, but Instagram is where I love to death scroll. Tommy Rouse, at Tommy Rouse, or you could go to our business at Avenue 12. And unfortunately, you have to spell out 12 because it's just fancier that way.
It looks nicer.
Yeah.
Perfect. And we'll put that in the description down below too.
Dude, Tommy, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for being on our show. This has been such a blast. We've learned so much about you and we want to hang out right now.
Yes.
Like, let's go get drinks. Oh man, this has been a great episode. Thank you, Tommy.
That'd be rad. Thank you guys for having me. I'm glad we finally did it.
Yes.
I mean, like I said, 6 months, I'm like in and out of town and this is perfect. I had so much fun. I didn't know you guys were going to ask all those questions.
So fun. You killed it.
Thank you, man.
All right. Tell me that was not an incredible episode. Tommy gave us such a great look into his journey from television production design to crafting custom rentals that make Avenue 12 so special. Hearing how his business has evolved and the one-of-a-kind offerings they're bringing to events was just incredible.
Absolutely. His background is so inspiring. I'm so grateful he's used his design expertise to build a specialty rental company that truly elevates events here on the Central Coast. From the curated mix of unique pieces to customizable, paintable bars and custom builds, there's so much flexibility to create something special.
Yeah, that's for sure. Avenue 12 is setting the bar high in the rental world. I can't wait to see what Tommy and his team dream up next. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Wedding Vendors Happy Hour. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button to hear from some more amazing wedding professionals. Whether you're tuning into our podcast or watching on YouTube, we appreciate your support. And remember, stay inspired and keep those wedding dreams alive. We'll catch you on Season 2, Episode 25.
Thank you for listening to the Wedding Vendors Happy Hour.